In California, a 3-second decision can hit your wallet like a punch. Up to $1,000 for a plate trick that looks harmless, and by the time fees, assessments, and the real-life fallout stack up, it can feel frighteningly close to $2,000. Sounds exaggerated? That's exactly why people get caught, because the rule doesn't look like a rule until the ticket is already printed. Here's the scary part. Most drivers don't think they're doing anything wrong. A quick snap-on cover, a tiny tilt, a quick "I'll fix it later" move, done in seconds, can make your license plate harder to read for cameras and officers. And California has been cracking down because these small tricks are often tied to bigger problems like hit and runs and toll fraud. So today, I'm breaking down 10 everyday moves that can quietly drain your bank account, starting with the one so fast you can do it while parked. Stay to the end, because number 10 is the mistake that turns one ticket into a money spiral. Number 1. Ghost plate covers/plate obstruction. This is the sneakiest, looks harmless mistake on the road. It's literally a 3-second move. You snap on a slightly tinted plastic cover, spray something anti-glare, add a frame that creeps over the stickers, or even tilt the plate just a little. From a normal angle it seems totally fine. But from the angle that matters, traffic cameras, toll readers, and an officer's view behind you, your plate can become harder to read. And in California, that's where the trouble starts. The state has been calling attention to plate visibility rules and cracking down on anything that obscures, alters, or reduces legibility of your plate. Because when a plate can't be read clearly, accountability disappears. That's why what feels like a tiny cosmetic upgrade can turn into a very real ticket. Now here's the part that shocks people. The fine can be around $1,000 for plate obstruction/alteration situations, and that's before you feel the real pain, extra court costs, administrative fees, and the time you lose dealing with it. And it doesn't stop at the ticket. If your plate isn't readable, you can also trigger other hassles. Being pulled over more often, problems with toll enforcement, and questions if you're ever involved in a crash or a misunderstanding on the road. That's why people say it can cost you $2,000. Because the money isn't just the citation. It's the stack of consequences that follow. Taking time off work, paying to remove/replace parts, and sometimes insurance headaches if the stop escalates into something else. So what should you do today to avoid this? Keep your plate plain, clean, and fully visible. No tinted covers, no reflective sprays, no camera-proof gimmicks, and no frames that block the state name, registration stickers, or even a small corner of the numbers. If you already have a cover, do a quick test. Stand 10 to 20 feet behind your car at a low angle, like a small sedan would see you, and ask, "Can I read every letter and number instantly?" If the answer isn't a confident yes, take it off. Because in California, the safest plate is boring. And boring is a lot cheaper than a cool cover that turns into a wallet-draining surprise. Number 2, the handheld phone grab even at a red light. This one is so common it feels normal. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. The 3-second move is simple. You're stopped at a light, your phone buzzes, and you think, "I'll just check it real quick." Or you're crawling in traffic and you reach down for a quick scroll, a quick reply, a quick tap. But here's what most people forget. Your brain doesn't switch back to driving instantly. Even after you put the phone down, your attention can lag, like your mind is still half inside the message. And on a California road, that tiny delay is the difference between smooth driving and a sudden brake slam, a near miss, or a very expensive mistake. Now let's talk money. A handheld phone ticket isn't just one little fine. It can snowball because it's not only about the ticket, it's about what happens next. Get pulled over once and you're stressed, distracted, and rushed, which is when people make more mistakes. If you cause a minor crash because you were looking down for 2 seconds, you're suddenly dealing with repairs, higher premiums, and the kind of headache that follows you for months. That's why this one belongs on the list. It's a small habit with a big blast radius. And the worst part? People don't even realize they're doing it. They don't call it distracted driving, they call it being efficient. But the road doesn't care about your notification. So here's the practical fix that actually works. Make your phone boring while you drive. Before you start the car, set your GPS, start your music, and turn on Do Not Disturb while driving or focus mode. If you need to respond, pull into a safe spot and stop fully. And if you catch yourself reaching for the phone, use a simple rule. If it can wait 3 minutes, it can wait 30. Put the phone in the glove box, the back seat, or a mount you can't casually grab. Because the goal isn't willpower, it's removing temptation. Your future self will thank you when you pass a cop, glance at your clean dashboard, and realize you just saved yourself from a ticket, a crash, and a whole lot of regret. Number 3, the "I'll just slip into the carpool lane" HOV dip. This one happens in a heartbeat. Traffic is crawling, your exit is coming up, and the HOV lane looks like a miracle. wide open, moving fast, calling your name. The 3-second move is the little swerve. You dip into the carpool lane just for a moment, pass a few cars, then slide back out like nothing happened. In your head, it feels harmless, almost like you're borrowing a shortcut. But to enforcement, it looks like exactly what it is: using a restricted lane without qualifying or crossing in and out where you're not supposed to. And because it's so easy to do, a lot of drivers gamble, until they learn the hard way that HOV rules aren't suggestions, they're expensive. Here's why it can hit your wallet hard. An HOV violation can cost hundreds of dollars, and depending on the area and the situation, people often report totals that land around the $490 plus range after everything is added in. That's already painful, but the bigger danger is the pattern. If you're someone who dips in once, you'll probably do it again, and repeated violations can become a money leak you don't even notice until you add it up. Plus, HOV enforcement is often positioned where drivers do this most: near merges, bottlenecks, and exits, because that's where just for a second turns into caught in 4K. And if you cross the solid lines or enter/exit at the wrong point, it's even easier to get flagged. So here's the smart way to avoid it without feeling stuck in traffic forever. Treat the HOV lane like a door you can only use at the correct entrance. Look for the allowed entry brakes, merge in smoothly, and commit. Don't weave in and out. If you're not eligible, don't do the dip even if it's tempting. Instead, use a safer cheat code. Leave a little earlier, choose a route with fewer merges, or time your lane changes before the bottleneck. And if you drive the same commute every day, learn the specific HOV patterns on that stretch, because one wrong habit repeated weekly can quietly turn into thousands over a year. The HOV lane isn't a shortcut, it's a test. And the moment you treat it like a game, California's ticket system reminds you it's a business. Number 4. Not moving over/not slowing down for stopped vehicles, hazard lights. This mistake looks tiny from behind the wheel, but from the shoulder it feels terrifying. You're cruising in the right lane, and up ahead you see a car pulled over with hazard lights blinking. Maybe it's a flat tire. Maybe it's a family with kids. Maybe it's someone shaken up after a near crash. The 3-second move is doing nothing. You stay in your lane, you keep your speed, and you pass them just a few feet away like they're not even there. Most drivers don't mean harm, they just think, "I'll go around later," or "I'm already close, it's fine." But in that moment, one slight drift, one gust of wind, one distracted glance, and you've created a life or death situation for someone standing inches from traffic. And California has been pushing harder on this because people on the shoulder get hit more than you'd expect, especially at night or on fast roads. That's why the expectation is simple. Move over when it's safe, and if you can't move over, slow down and pass with extra caution. It's about giving space to anyone stranded, disabled vehicles, tow situations, or drivers who had to pull over suddenly. Enforcement can be real too. If an officer sees you blast past a hazard situation without moving over or reducing speed, it can become a stop, especially if your driving looks careless. The cost isn't just money either. One close pass can trigger panic, a stumble, or a chain reaction that turns a normal drive into a serious crash. Here's the easy habit that saves lives and saves your wallet. The moment you see hazards ahead, tell yourself space or slow. Check mirrors early, signal early, and if the next lane is open, move over smoothly with plenty of room. Don't wait until the last second. If traffic is tight and you can't change lanes, ease off the gas and pass slowly, giving the widest buffer possible. Stay focused until you're fully past the stopped car. Because one calm decision now is far cheaper than the mistake that can cost a ticket, a crash, and the kind of regret that doesn't go away. Number 5. The rolling California stop at stop signs. This is the classic trap because it feels safe. You pull up to a stop sign, you glance left, glance right, and if it looks clear, you do the 3-second move. You pause without actually stopping. Your wheels keep creeping, your foot hovers, and you glide through like you're being efficient. Most people don't even think of it as breaking a rule. They think, "I looked, no one was there." But the danger is what you can't see. A cyclist coming fast, a kid stepping off the curb, a car hidden behind a parked SUV, or someone turning wide into your lane. That tiny roll steals your reaction time, and on streets with tight corners or bad visibility, it can turn a calm moment into a sudden, violent surprise. Here's the scary truth. Stop signs exist where crashes are already likely, near schools, neighborhoods, and intersections with limited sight lines. When you don't fully stop, your brain also doesn't fully reset into decision mode. You're still moving, still committed, still half-guessing. And even a small speed, just a few miles per hour, changes the outcome if something appears late. You need those extra seconds to process, brake, and yield correctly. Plus, rolling stops are one of the easiest violations for an officer to spot, because it's obvious when your tires never fully stop. So even if you don't crash, you can still get tagged with a ticket that feels ridiculous, until you remember you were literally betting on what you didn't see. So here's the simple fix that makes you look like a pro driver and keeps you out of trouble. Do a real stop, wheels fully still, then count 1,000 before you go. Stop at the limit line or before the crosswalk, then creep forward only if you need a better view and stop again if necessary. Think of it like this: the stop sign isn't just telling you to slow down, it's demanding a decision break. That one clean second can prevent a crash, protect pedestrians and cyclists, and keep your driving record and your bank account looking clean. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which 3-second mistake do you catch people doing the most, and what should the fine be in your opinion? If you want more ways to save money on the road, watch our previous video. It's packed with rules most drivers still miss. We put a ton of effort into researching and scripting these videos. Please support us with a subscribe, it's literally one click. Number 6. Tailgating for just one exit. This one starts as a mood, not a plan. You're late, traffic is slow, and the car in front of you feels like it's personally ruining your day. So you do the 3-second move, you creep closer. One car length, then half, then you're basically glued to their bumper thinking it will somehow make the whole line move faster. But tailgating is a trap because it creates a chain reaction. You see brake lights late, you brake harder, the person behind you brakes harder, and suddenly the road turns into a wave of panic. And if anything unexpected happens, someone merges, a tire pops, a pedestrian appears, your extra pressure becomes an instant collision you can't undo. Here's what people don't realize: tailgating isn't just risky, it's expensive because rear-end crashes are one of the most common types of accidents, and the driver behind is usually blamed. Even if it's a small bump, you're now dealing with repairs, insurance claims, time off work, and premiums that quietly climb month after month. And it's not only crashes, tailgating can also get you pulled over for unsafe following distance. The irony is brutal. You tailgate to save a minute, but one stop, one ticket, or one fender bender can steal hours, days, and a chunk of your paycheck. That's why this habit is a wallet drainer. It turns normal traffic into a constant emergency. So here's the fix that actually works in real life. Use the 3-second rule, and yes, it's easy. Pick a marker ahead like a sign or a tree. When the car in front passes it, count 1, 2, 3. If you reach the marker before you finish counting, you're too close. In rain, at night, or on the freeway, stretch it to 4 or 5 seconds. And if someone cuts in, don't take it personally, just rebuild your space cushion. That gap isn't wasted space. It's your braking room, your stress reducer, and your cheapest insurance policy on the road. Number 7. The late yellow gamble, turning yellow into red. This one feels like a split-second win. You see the light turn yellow and your brain instantly does math. Can I make it? So you do the 3-second move, you press the gas instead of the brake. You tell yourself, it's still yellow, and you launch through the intersection hoping it stays that way. But here's the problem. Yellow is not a bonus round. It's a warning that the intersection is about to become the most dangerous place on the road, because drivers going straight are rushing, drivers turning are guessing, and pedestrians are stepping off the curb. When you speed up at the end of a yellow, you're not just trying to beat a light, you're betting that nobody else will make the opposite decision at the same time. The scary part is how fast this turns from "I made it" to "I messed up." If the light flips red a moment before you cross, that's a red light violation, and depending on where you are, it can be caught by enforcement or cameras. But even if you don't get a ticket, the real danger is the crash scenario. Cross traffic starts moving, someone turns left thinking you'll stop, or a pedestrian appears at the worst possible moment. And intersections are where impacts are nastiest because they're often side hits, fast, sudden, and expensive. One gamble can turn into tow trucks, hospital bills, and an insurance nightmare that follows you for years. That's why this tiny habit belongs on a list about money, because the cost isn't only a fine, it's the damage a single bad timing decision can cause. So here's the rule that keeps you safe and makes you look calm and in control. If you're close enough to feel unsure, choose the smooth stop. Start easing off early, keep your eyes scanning the crosswalk, and brake like you're carrying a cup of hot coffee, steady, not panicked. A simple trick is the decision point. If the light turns yellow and you need to speed up to make it, you stop. No drama, no rush. You'll lose a few seconds, but you'll avoid the kind of mistake that can cost a ticket, a crash, or a whole month of stress. Number 8. School zone speed drift when you don't notice the sign. This mistake doesn't start with bad intentions, it starts with autopilot. You're driving your usual route, thinking about work, groceries, or what you'll cook tonight, and then you do the 3-second move. Your speed creeps up without you noticing. School zones are sneaky because they don't always look like danger. Sometimes it's a quiet street, no kids in sight, and the road feels wide and calm. But the risk in school areas isn't predictable. A child can appear between parked cars in a heartbeat, a crossing guard can step out, a parent can open a door, or a bike can wobble into the lane. And when that happens, the difference between 20 and 30 miles per hour is not just 10 miles. It's the difference between stopping in time or not. Here's why this can get expensive fast. School zones are high-focus enforcement areas for a reason, and speed violations near schools can come with heavier consequences, especially if it's during posted hours or when children are present. Even if you don't get stopped, the financial danger is bigger than a ticket. One close call in a school zone can mean a collision with huge liability, massive guilt, and a long-term insurance hit. And the worst part? People don't remember what speed they were going, they remember the moment they saw a kid last second and felt their stomach drop. That fear is the warning sign your habits need an upgrade. Because, "I didn't realize I was speeding," won't protect you when the situation changes in front of you. So here's the simple fix that works even if you're tired or distracted. Create a trigger. The moment you see anything school-related, crosswalk signs, playground fences, flashing lights, school markings, your hand should automatically check the speedometer. Make it a reflex. Sign equals speed check. If your car has it, set a speed warning alert around 20 to 25 miles per hour for those areas. And build one more habit. In school zones, scan far ahead and keep your foot ready, not resting on the gas. You're not just driving through a neighborhood, you're driving through someone's childhood. A few seconds slower is a small price to avoid a ticket, a tragedy, and a mistake you can't rewind. Number 9. The "I feel fine" one drink decision. This is the most dangerous 3-second move because it happens before you even start the car. You grab your keys. Maybe it was only one drink. Maybe you ate food. Maybe you're telling yourself, "I'm not drunk, I'm fine." And that's exactly how people get trapped, because impairment doesn't always feel like impairment. It often feels like confidence. Your judgment gets softer, your timing gets slower, and your brain starts taking risks it wouldn't normally take, like speeding up at a yellow, misjudging a gap, or glancing at the phone. You don't notice the change because you're the one changing. And on the road, even a small delay in reaction time can turn an ordinary turn, merge, or stop into something you can't take back. The money side of this is brutal. A DUI isn't just a ticket, it can be a financial earthquake. Between fines, fees, court costs, classes, towing, and insurance increases, it can easily climb into the thousands. Even if you avoid a DUI, a crash after drinking can create huge liability because the moment alcohol is involved, everything gets more serious, legally and financially. And that's before we even talk about the human cost. The scariest part is that most people who make this choice aren't bad people. They're normal people who made a normal mistake, and then spend years paying for a decision that took seconds. So here's the simplest rule that saves lives and saves your wallet. Decide before you drink. If you're going out, lock in a plan: rideshare, a designated driver, public transit, or staying the night. If plans change and you've already had alcohol, don't negotiate with yourself. Put the keys away and make the safe option the easy option. A practical trick: keep a ride home budget like you keep a phone bill, because paying for a ride is always cheaper than paying for regret. And if you're watching this thinking, "I've done this before," let that thought be your warning. The road doesn't care how fine you feel, only how fast you can react when something goes wrong. Number 10. The repeat offense trap: ignoring the first ticket. This is the mistake that turns a bad day into a money spiral, and it usually starts with denial. You get a ticket, you toss it on the passenger seat, and you do the 3-second move. You tell yourself, "I'll deal with it later." Later turns into next week, then next month, and suddenly you've missed a deadline you didn't even realize was a deadline. A lot of drivers don't understand that traffic tickets aren't just a fine. They're a process with strict dates, possible court requirements, and paperwork rules that do not care if you were busy, stressed, or broke. And once you miss that window, the system can add extra penalties that make the total explode. Here's how the trap gets expensive. One unpaid ticket can trigger more fees, collections, and even bigger consequences depending on the situation. And it's not only about money. Ignoring the first ticket often leads to more risky driving decisions. People drive tense, distracted, and angry, and that's when you start stacking mistakes. Another stop, another violation, another "I'll handle it later." Then there's the insurance factor. Multiple tickets close together can make your insurance look at you like a risk they don't want. and your premium can climb quietly every month. That's when the cost starts to feel like $2,000 or more. Not because of one single fine, but because you're paying for the chain reaction. Penalties, time off work, stress, and rising long-term costs. So here's the smart move that breaks the cycle fast. Handle every ticket within 24 hours of getting it, not by panicking but by organizing. Take a photo of it, set a calendar reminder for all deadlines, and look up official payment or court instructions right away. If traffic school is an option for your case, don't wait until the last minute when spots or deadlines become a problem. And if you truly can't pay immediately, don't ghost it. Many systems have ways to request extensions or payment plans, but you only get those options if you act early. Think of it like a leak in your house. Ignoring it doesn't make it disappear, it makes it flood. One ticket handled quickly is annoying. One ticket ignored can become a financial mess that follows you for months. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. The most expensive driving mistakes are usually the ones that feel small. A tinted plate cover that looks clean. A phone check that feels quick. A carpool lane dip that feels just for a second. A rolling stop because no one was there. These are the habits that quietly drain your money, not always in one dramatic moment, but through tickets, fees, time wasted, and that slow insurance creep that hits your budget every single month. California roads don't just punish the big reckless stuff, they also punish the tiny choices that happen on autopilot. So here's your challenge. Pick one thing from today and fix it this week. Maybe it's removing that plate cover. Maybe it's turning on Do Not Disturb while driving. Maybe it's practicing a real stop at stop signs, or rebuilding a 3-second gap instead of tailgating. Small change, big payoff. And ask yourself a simple question next time you drive. Is this move saving me time, or setting me up to pay later? Because the truth is, every risky shortcut on the road comes with a bill, you just don't always get it instantly. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these do you see drivers doing every day in your area? Drop it in the comments, and if you've ever gotten a surprise ticket, share what happened. Your story might save someone else. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you want more money-saving driving tips, watch the next video on your screen. This video is for education only and isn't legal advice. Laws and enforcement can vary by city and situation. Always check official local guidance or talk to a professional if you need help.